Okay, welcome this morning to everybody to this morning's Bambuddha Boost. We're very lucky to have Catherine here today. Catherine is the founder and CEO of Keynoteworthy, which is an awesome organisation that's working to improve diversity, inclusion and stories, diverse stories within panels, lineups, events and all sorts of other good stuff that's going on. So we're really lucky to have had Catherine as one of our partners for the past year, and we've seen obviously her work grow and the interest in what she's doing grow, which we're really happy to see. So we're tackling the topic today of how to be a good ally. You know, there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and it's conversations that have needed to happen for a long time and continue to happen. But there's a lot of fear associated to how to support that conversation. So we wanted to alleviate some of those fears today, and we wanted to create a safe space to be able to ask any questions, and for Catherine to give us some do's and don'ts around how to be a good ally. So I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to disappear for 15 minutes, and I'm going to hand you over to Catherine.
Hello, everyone. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I feel really excited to share this topic that, in actual fact, I don't want to talk about this topic, but I feel it's really important. In the ideal world, we don't need to talk about this topic. But before I begin, I just want to acknowledge the Darug people, who are the traditional custodians of the land in which I reside and work in, which is Parramatta. I acknowledge and pay respect to the elders, past and present, who has given us time, knowledge and guidance. My name is Catherine once again, and I'm the founder of Keynoteworthy. In light of recent events and tragedies, the word allyship has been tossed around a lot. And then so I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I'm not an expert in this. I can only share some of my own experiences. First of all, I think what's really important is to check our own privilege. And oh my God, it is really uncomfortable. And as you can tell, I'm Asian, I'm Oriental. And I've always felt that I've won the lottery of life. And because of coronavirus, there's a lot of anti-Asian sentiments. And then there was one time I was walking in Audi with my son. He's only 4 years old. And the lady in front of me just looked at me and she said, "Make sure you stay 1.5 meters away from me because you are Asian." She said that to me, because you are Asian. And then I just froze, because like my English is perfect. I'm educated, I'm well dressed at the time. I just didn't understand. And it was a recheck of my own privilege. And I always thought of myself as someone that's quite self-aware, but then it also dawned on me again, I've been so privileged that I don't experience firsthand racism like that every single day. And so this whole Black Lives Matters movement, yes, it's been around for a long, long time. It's just made me again recheck my privilege. And then so I was going to make a point. Yeah, I was checking my privilege. And the fact is that in Australia, we've experienced racism for a very, very, very long time. And you may recognise the words, "I can't breathe," from George Floyd when he was dying. And in actual fact, in Australia, a gentleman by the name of David Dungay Jr., who's a 26-year-old Dunghutti man from Kempsey, he was killed by policemen in Long Bay Jail back in 2015. And so those were also his dying words. But it didn't make mass media news or anything like that. No one talked about it. And then so it's really, allyship is really important because it helps amplify voices. So number one is to understand where you're coming from, your privilege. So again, just a recheck of my own privilege. I went to, so my parents, actually, sorry if I feel a bit scattered. My parents came to Australia as Vietnamese refugees. And so again, I won the lottery of life because I didn't have to be in that boat. I wasn't attacked by pirates. I wasn't raped because I was born here. I didn't have to experience that firsthand. And back then, the Vietnamese refugees were already granted refugee status. Nowadays, you don't get automatic refugee status. You become an asylum seeker. And then so if you see the news and also hear about the terrible treatment of asylum seekers, again, that makes me think, wow, I'm just so grateful for what I have in my education and where I am today. So yeah. And number 2 is also to prepare for discomfort, because all this whole Black Lives Matter and everything, talking about racism is so bloody uncomfortable. Like so just a bit of background, I do a bit of stand-up comedy on the side. So I like to be really, really positive. I like to joke around a lot, tasteful, of course. And but talking about this is just really uncomfortable for me, but I know that I have to talk about it because it's just part of what I do at Keynoteworthy. So for those who don't know much about Keynoteworthy, I'll just share with you very, very quickly. It's a speakers bureau that represents underrepresented voices. So when I talk about diversity, I'm not just talking about gender or ethnicity. I'm talking about across the whole gamut of experiences, age, neurodiversity, just the whole gamut of it. So I've got about 200 people listed on the directory. I've also got some other people who prefer not to be listed, but I also represent them as well. And then so it's really humbling to see me recommend a lot of speakers to other businesses which they wouldn't have otherwise found. Anyway, that's a bit about Keynoteworthy. So just going back to the whole allyship, that's why it's so important for me to talk about it, even though it does make me uncomfortable. And thirdly, allyship is a verb. So it's really easy to say that you're an ally, but if you don't do anything about it, then it's just, you're just using the word just to be sexy. So, and I've experienced that firsthand as well. So since starting Keynoteworthy mid last year, so I'm almost celebrating my first birthday, woohoo, people have wanted to partner with me. And I'm like, okay, great, let's have a conversation about it. And then when I have a conversation with them about it, all they want to do is just use my database and just use me for, because diversity inclusion is seen as really sexy and they want that halo effect. They really want to look good, but not willing to take action. And what's interesting is that some of them are actually people of color themselves. And that's really disappointing for me to see. And then so there's a lot of education that needs to be done. And I am very open to calling people out on it, of course, in a respectful way, because sometimes I think people don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they're saying is probably not the right thing to say. I mean, I've done it myself as well. And my friend just said, no, please don't say that. I'm like, oh, sorry, I was not aware. And so I think just we are going to F up sometimes. That's human nature. We're not all perfect. But I think we also need to admit to fault when we do make mistakes and see that as a learning opportunity. I'm part of a Facebook group where a lady, she's a trailblazer in the diversity and inclusion space, and she's of Indian heritage. And she did a talk recently about sense of belonging and allyship as well, ironically. And then the person that organised that podcast posted up a picture of not her, but someone that looked of South Asian heritage. And then she was like, hang on, this is not my picture. And they even spelt her name incorrectly as well. And so they apologized and they said, I'm not sure why this happened. But yet she was like, well, you do know why this happened. You basically uploaded the wrong picture that you found on the internet, and you did not upload the picture that I sent you. And the person said, oh, well, you know, you all kind of look really similar and you're very pretty, so I don't see the issue. And so I think people don't really get it. They are so quick to say that they are an ally. They're very supportive of this, but we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen. And so, yep, number 3 was ally is a verb. Oh, I'm just conscious of time as well. Other things to keep in mind is this is continuous allyship. Like, it's not about doing, it's not a course or anything like that. It's continuous improvement. And so for me, I'm still learning to be a good ally. And so I make a conscious effort to speak to many different people. So people with disabilities, LGBTQI communities, neurodiverse, so I can learn more, because I'm really, really curious. And sometimes I ask really silly questions and they're like, what the fuck? And it's because I'm still learning and I fuck up too. And so again, you know, this is a really, really uncomfortable process. I congratulate you for hopping on the bus, the good bus. Yeah, just be an upstander. If you see something, call people out, but of course in a way that doesn't make people feel less of a person, because not that you will, but I think everyone is learning as well. And much to Bambuddha's philosophy and ethos, you know, it's about kind leadership. And so, yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. It's a huge topic. I can go on forever, but if you've got any questions, let me know, or get in touch with me at keynoteworthy.com.au. Yeah, anyone got any questions?
Thank you for that, Catherine, and for being so vulnerable and sharing your story as well. I think it'd be great to, you know, pick up upon what are some of the things that you think are just definite no-nos, like that you've seen people doing with the best intention, you know, but it's actually not been the right thing to do. Have you got any examples of that at this time, or any suggestions?
My suggestion is that it's not about you. And so I think when we are naturally trying to empathize with someone, we like to talk about our own experiences. And I can never, although I have experienced racism firsthand, and also microaggressions as well, I can never know what it feels like to be a Black person, because I'm not a Black person. And then so it's not helpful to talk about your own experience as a way to relate to someone else. And so that's really dangerous. I can give you another example, which might sound a bit funny, but someone was saying one time, oh, I'm not racist, I've got Asian friends. Or, you know, and so it's just sometimes we have to check what we're saying. The best thing to do is just listen and yeah, so just listen and don't make it about you, make it about the other person.
I think that's really good advice. Thank you so much, Catherine. So has anybody got any thoughts or any comments today that they'd like to share? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, how's everyone doing?
Tell us how you are. You can pop in the chat down there. And what actions have you been taking to be an ally? That would be really interesting to hear and understand. What actions have people actively been taking at this time? It's a little bit of a tumbleweed going on. I'm experiencing that type of fatigue that Catherine mentioned, a lot of heavy conversations and thoughts.
Yeah, I am feeling quite tired actually, which is why Anna was saying before the call, she was like, my voice is so soothing and calming. I'm like, that's because I'm really tired. I'm fighting racism. I need a cape.
Yeah, I said it's the most disarming voice in the world. We could probably address any topic today. If we had more time, we'll throw them more in the mix. But I think everybody's feeling the way you're feeling, Sammy, and there's a lot of people that are feeling that way. And I think that self-kindness to yourself and that compassion is a really important thing at this time. And it does feel a little bit relentless. Me and Catherine were just saying, you know, we've had a hell of a year in Australia this year, you know, from the bushfires and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And, you know, there's a collective fatigue and a collective fear and worry that's happening in the world. And
absolutely,
yeah, we can't deny that. But what should people do? How can people reach you, Catherine, to learn more? And, you know, how can they best utilize Keynoteworthy within their businesses and leadership to be a good ally?
They can follow Keynoteworthy on social media. So I'm everywhere, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. Also connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So it's just Catherine NGO. And I just share a lot of resources and my thoughts as well, occasionally. Yeah, that's how you can get in touch with me. And yeah, just get in touch with me, say hi, ask me questions. I'm also a phone call away.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Catherine. And, you know, we always like to say, you know, doing nothing because you're afraid of getting it wrong is not a good excuse. You know, we've got to move forward and do what you can. Do as Catherine said, listen, be present, be kind, and hopefully we'll start seeing some change in this world in a really positive way. And thank you, Catherine, for all you do for equality, for diversity, for inclusion. It's really important, and we're really thankful to have had you here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Anna.
Go off and have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Take a deep breath in and be kind. Take care.